Knowing what to focus on in the gym can be as difficult as knowing what to focus on when you're building your character. You've got a few key stats to take care of when it comes to your physical attributes. In D&D, that is. You've got your strength, you've got your constitution, and your dexterity. And when it comes to your own actual real-world body, you've also probably got a few different things that you want to focus on physically. You want to lose some body fat, you want to gain some muscle, you probably like to be a little bit stronger, and you probably like to be a little bit fitter so that running up a flight of stairs or two doesn't get you out of breath and force you to sit down on the toilet to go for a pee. But just like with your D&D character, it's hard to juggle all of those different traits and know how you're meant to improve them all. And the short answer is you don't try and improve them all. At least you don't try and improve them all at once. And if that's all you need to hear, then you can hit the like and follow the channel and move on to the next video. Enjoy your day. When it comes to D&D, the key thing to remember is that your modifier or your score has to improve by 2 points in order to improve your modifier by 1 point. So a strength score of 12 gives you a +1 modifier. A strength score of 14 gives you a +2 modifier. A strength score of 15 is still just a +2 modifier. Which means that if you very slowly increase all your stats by 1, it takes a while for you to see improvements across any of them. Whereas if you dramatically increase one stat and then hold it there, you will get the improvements for that stat very, very early. And when it comes time to improve the next stat, you can chuck 2 points into that and get that modifier straight away. And I think this is probably the smartest approach to take with your training as well. You first of all need to decide what your real priority is. Not what you feel like it should be, not what would be cool to achieve, but what genuinely matters the most to you. If that's stripping back body fat, fantastic. If that's getting stronger and hitting PBs in the gym, awesome. If it's learning new skills, awesome. If it's going out for or feeling like you can go out and go for a 10K run without having a heart attack, awesome. That's cool. But the important thing is that you pick one to start with. And it's not that you don't work on the others and that you don't improve them, but you understand that there is only so much time during the week for you to train, and that you've only got so much energy and recoverability, I think that's the word, recoverability, it is now, in order for you to make gains and make progress. And I think that if you try and improve everything or multiple things all at once, and you're not an elite athlete, then it's going to be a very, very, very slow and infuriating process. The way to look at it is that it doesn't take a huge amount to maintain what you've got or make very small progress, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of effort in order to make big leaps. And so if you want to improve your fitness, you are going to need to do a lot of training to improve your fitness. You'll want to do some intervals, you want to do some steady state cardio, whether we're talking about running, rowing, cycling, it doesn't matter, it's going to take time. And then if you want to build muscle, you are also going to have to lift progressively heavier and heavier weights for many sets and many reps frequently across the week. You're also going to have to manage your diet and your nutrition really, really, really carefully. And then on top of that, if you wanted to somehow lose body fat at the same time, then you've also got to be in a calorie deficit whilst maintaining the energy to do all of this running and interval training and lift all this heavy weight and recover from it. And you could see how difficult that's going to be. A smarter approach would be to hold 1 or 2 of those closer to maintenance. So you might decide that improving your fitness is really important right now. You're fed up of being out of breath, you're fed up of being out of shape, the kids are leaving you in the dust and they only just started learning to walk a few weeks ago. And so you're going to devote a load of time and effort into running. You're going to go out for a long run every weekend because you've got the time. You're going to do some intervals during the week, and when you get to the gym, you'll do a bit of extra interval training on an assault bike, a treadmill, doesn't really matter. At the same time, you recognize that it's going to be very difficult for you to dedicate enough time to pack on a load of muscle. So you reduce down the amount of strength training you're going to do to 2 full body sessions a week lasting 45 minutes. In each session, you do a heavy squat variation, a heavy deadlift variation, a heavy pressing variation, and a heavy pulling variation. Now, what those are right now doesn't necessarily matter. So you dedicate 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes twice a week to holding on to as much strength and as muscle as possible. As much strength and muscle as possible. And believe me, as long as you're training hard with a good program, then that's actually pretty straightforward to do. Now you've got more time during the week to run. You also recognize that trying to cut a load of body fat off, it's going to be difficult because you really could do with the energy to go for those runs. So your calories around maintenance, your body weight stays roughly the same. You'll probably see some small body composition changes if you're taking photos, take measurements, because you'll lose a little bit of body fat perhaps and gain a little bit of muscle, but it's not going to be hugely significant. It's not going to be visually obvious over the next sort of 6 to 10 weeks. But over those 6 to 12 weeks, your body composition fluctuates but stays relatively healthy. You maintain all of the muscle mass and strength that you have, but your fitness goes through the roof. You've added +2 to your strength. Actually, no, I think fitness would be constitution. Now you get to that point, you go for something else. You don't stop running. You can just do a lot less. You could do one long run on the weekend and one really short, intense sprint interval-based session during the week, and that will probably maintain all of the fitness that you've built over the last 6 to 10 weeks for a period of time. Now you've got more time to invest into strength training, build a little bit of muscle, get a little bit stronger. Or maybe you feel like dieting is more important and you can invest all your time and energy into that. The process repeats itself. You see where I'm going with this, hopefully. You put all your eggs in one basket, or most of your eggs in one basket, to get your actual stats up. You improve your strength, or your constitution, or your dexterity. Once you reach that next milestone, once you get that +2 score, and therefore a +1 modifier, if you're not a D&D nerd, by the way, then most of this is making zero sense whatsoever. Hopefully there'll be some sort of AI generating chat model which will just convert it into normal speak. Once you get that +1 modifier, you can decide to continue pushing on if you want, or like I said, you can just hold there for a little while and invest that time and energy and effort into developing another stat. Personally, that's what I would recommend for you, because chances are if you're watching this, then you're maybe a little bit of a nerd, a bit of a dweeb, and you don't have time to train like an elite athlete. Yes, you can get fitter and lose body fat and get stronger all at the same time, but it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of bandwidth as well to be juggling all of those different things and managing all of those different stresses and demands. And by the time you factor kids, career and work, same thing, social life, commuting, travel, holiday, bugs, illnesses, it's just not going to be reasonable to do that. So instead, work out what your priorities are and attack those and put everything else on maintenance. Don't stop training it. Like, don't stop going to the gym, because you will lose muscle and you will lose strength. But just put it on maintenance. Just do enough to keep what you've got, chuck most of your eggs in another basket, work really hard. Your next modifier, strength, constitution, dexterity, or muscle building, fitness, body fat, whatever we're talking about, will come online. You can hold that new level of fitness, feel awesome about it, recognize those achievements and those rewards, and then go and progress somewhere else. And before you know it, you might end up having a strength score of 20, a constitution score of 20, and a dexterity score of, well, if you got that high strength and constitution, who gives a fuck about dexterity? Oh, don't forget, if you're into silly, nerdy tabletop hobbies and you want to get fitter and stronger, then make sure you give this channel a follow. I'll come up with the name of it at some point. Or better yet, I'll ask ChatGPT to come up with like 50 different names and I'll just use a different one every week. They'll be proper cringe.